The Falcon P12 is a mini LED Fresnel light that can produce an impressive 19,900 lux at 1 meter. The light is made from a rugged CNC machined aluminum, and it has a Bowens mount on the front. The unique part about this 150 watt LED light is the focusable beam angle on the front that you can adjust from 16 to 55 degrees. Narrowing the beam angle is how you're able to achieve such a high output, and if you want something wider, you won't have that 19,900 lux. This is able to put out a lot of light in a small area. I have the 5600K version, but there's also a 3200 Kelvin version as well. The Falcon P12 was sent to me to review, but this video is not sponsored by them at all. All these words in this review are my own, based on the usage of the Falcon P12 over my last few videos. And Falcon has not seen this before posting. Okay, Falcon says this light has a CRI of 97 and a TLCI of 98. I have no way of testing this since I don't have a high-end light meter, but I've been mixing this with my Godox SL60, my Quasar tube lights, and my Rolleiflex light, and I really haven't had any color issues with mixing these lights together. This light comes with a power control box like many other lights of this size and strength, but I find this power control box to be an older design compared to my other Falcon lights that I own. It offers the same functionality, just in a slightly older design it seems. You have a dimmer that goes from 0 to 100, a channel selection, and a few different pre-made scene effects as well. Since this is a single color light though, the scene effects are pretty limited like compared to a full RGB or a bicolor light, but if you're an independent filmmaker, these may be more helpful to you. The different scenes are paparazzi, lightning 1 and 2, strobe, high-low beam, double flash, and heart rate. One thing to be aware of with this light is the fan, and if you're using this close to microphones, you're probably going to be able to hear the fans that come out of the P12. Using a low pass filter on your mic will probably help here, but if you're using this light at full power, it gets very hot and it will have this fan spinning the whole time. To my understanding, there's no way to turn the fan off either. This light is so bright that you're probably not going to want to put it right next to your subject or talent with your microphones anyways, but if you plan on getting this light and putting it close to your frame to get a lot of light, this is something to be concerned of when it comes to audio. The power control box has the ability to be sorry if you're hearing this. The power control box also has the ability to be powered by a V-mount battery, and you can also use it with the AC wall power. But if you're going to be using both of these sources at once, I don't know why you would, but pressing up, you're going to be using the V-mount battery, and pressing down on the power switch, you're going to be using the wall power. And to turn the light off, you have to push the toggle to the middle. This was an interesting choice to have the power button be in the direct center. I don't know why they made that design decision, but I don't find myself at all ever using my lights with V-mount batteries. So I will be using the wall outlet and go to turn the light on and flip it, and I'll actually be putting it to battery power. So that was an interesting choice. I guess this is more convenient if you're using a V-mount battery and wall power at the same time, if that's something that you would do. But I find myself flipping the on and off switch around when I first go to turn this light on for the first time. Another interesting design decision from Falcon was the length of the power cable from the control box to the LED light. This cable is probably about 4 feet long, and if you're going to be using this on a light stand, which you probably are, and it will be more than 4 feet off the ground, which it probably will be, you're going to have to attach the control box to the light somehow. Falcon does include a strap in the box, but it's more of like a duffel bag strap, and it's not really a strap that's meant to be hanging a heavy control box off of a hot light. So to get around this, the first thing I did was pick up one of my safety chains that I have. I just had these laying around, and I use them to rig up some lights. If they're in a suspect spot, you can, attach this to something to either hold it so it won't fall over, or you can just make it so the light, if it does fall off the stand, it will just kind of hang onto the C-stand or light stand or whatever you have, and it won't hurt someone. So not really the intended use for these safety chains to rig a control box to a light, but it did work. It's not the most elegant solution, but it worked. This solution worked for me because I like to have this light be easy to set up and break down, because I mostly use this light for product photography, and I need to kind of break lights down and move them around a lot. So there is probably a more elegant solution that you can actually mount this with like a clamp to the stand, but I don't really have this light in a permanent location around my studio like I do my other lights. So I think it's nice to just kind of use a hacky chain like this for the time being. I'm not saying this is the best way. There's probably better ways with like magic arms and clamps or something, but for me, this was the fastest way to put it up and break it down without having there be a lot of stress on the power port of the P12. The power box also has DMX controls. I don't have a DMX board and I don't use them with the lights in my studio, so I can't report on any features or issues with that, but it's there if you need it. The box also comes with a 2.4 gigahertz antenna to use with the remote. You have to purchase the remote separately, and I really wish Falcon Eyes would include the remotes with their lights like some other brands do, especially since this control box is going to be on a light stand and it will probably be high up in the air. So if you need to adjust your settings, you'll have to drop the light down to actually, dial in your intensity of the light or adjust a scene effect or something like that. But again, you're gonna have to purchase the remote separately from this light. The carrying case that comes with this is a light soft-sided case with plenty of room for all the parts to easily fit. I love that this light comes with a case, especially at the price point, because it's easy to just throw all of the contents of this light in the bag and either put it away or take it to the next location that you're going to film with. I have used the bag a lot because like I said earlier, I put this light up whenever I need to do product photography, and I break it down and put it in the container when it's all done. Like I said earlier, I filmed a few products at higher frame rates, and I'm really happy to say when I was using the 180-degree shutter rule, filming at 24, 30, 60, and 120, I was not able to see any flickering when I slowed it down to a 24 frames per second timeline. This is great because if I'm filming a product at a high frame rate and my f-stop is like 22 to get the entire product in focus, it's really nice to have a really hard directional beam of light that I can just shine on the product and make sure everything is properly exposed. I've previously gotten around this in the past by bringing in tons of lights and just putting them really close to the products. And when I use this light, I only really need to bring in one other light to fill in the shadows that are on the opposite side of this light. This light is enough for me to shoot with my A7 III in 120 frames per second with an f-stop of 22 and an ISO of 500. And I only have to use one other light to fill in the other side of the shadows that this is spilling out. If you're looking for a mini Fresnel light that can pack up into a small case, this could be an option worth checking out. It doesn't really have a whole lot of features, but when it comes to this light, all I'm really concerned about is the high output and the focusable beam angle that lets me get focused areas of light for my shots. Since I mostly use the P12 for product videos, I'm not really concerned about the fan noise that's coming out of this, but it is something to keep in mind if you want to use this as like a key light. Placing it pretty far away is going to be the best bet to not pick up the fan noise with your mic. The Bowens mount on the front of the light is a really good benefit here because there have been times that I've been using it as a hard light source, and then I just throw any of my Bowens mount soft boxes on the front for a nice softer light, and I don't have to switch out the entire lighting setup just to get softer light. I'm really not a fan of the dangling power control box from the LED light though. Including a longer cord or at least a light stand mount for the power control box like the Rolleiflex lights have would have been a huge improvement over the included strap they give you. My safety cable solution is not ideal, but it's the best one I can come up with before going a more permanent route like actually building a clamp onto the box or something like that. If you're thinking about picking one of these lights up, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description which supports the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. If you didn't like this video, share it with someone you don't like. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next videos.